Hey everybody, and welcome back to It's Only Food with Chef John Politte. Today we are going to be showing you how to make hamburger stroganoff soup. Cue the music. Alright, thanks a lot for joining us again today. If you have not subscribed to this channel now, please go down to that corner there, hit that subscribe button, and then hit that notification bell to be notified each and every time I upload new content. Alright, we got a good one in store for you today. We are going to be making hamburger stroganoff soup. So let's head into our kitchen here and check out what our ingredients are. We are going to start out with 1 pound of ground beef. I got about 8 ounces of mushrooms, 1 onion, 2 cloves of garlic, about a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, we're going to use some beef base to make some broth, about a cup of sour cream, I got about a 1/4 pound of butter, 1 cup of flour to thicken that up. Then we're going to cook our egg noodles ahead of time and add them to it when it's almost done. We'll explain more about that when we get to that point in this recipe. Alright, right now let's get into the kitchen, start working on our prep. Alright, I've got our noodles going so those can just be done, so we can utilize those into the recipe once we get to the point where we want to put those in. And I do have my ground beef and our butter kind of cooking. I forgot to pull the ground beef out of the freezer this morning, so I've got that kind of going. We're going to add our aromatics into it as soon as we get done doing that. Okay, we got our aromatics, our garlic and our onion, and I got our mushrooms here we're going to cut up now too. I'm going to go ahead and cut our onion. I'm going to go ahead and dice this. Got it into a small dice. Then I got our garlic right here that I'm just going to mince up and throw in there with the onion. And of course our mushrooms, which I have washed off. Now you can, if you want to, take the stem off and go ahead and slice them up. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the whole mushroom. But you just slice them up like that and throw them right into our bowl there with the onions and garlic. I'm going to go ahead and cut all these up. Then we'll transition over to the pot over here and start making up our soup. Okay, well I had this at a slow simmer with the lid on, and I threw the butter in there as well to get some of that flavor in there, because we're going to use that to thicken up our sauce as well with the roux. So there's some butter in there and that hamburger grease, but it's 80-20, so it's not too bad. I've turned the heat up on this to let it to cook now because the ice crystals are all out of there. I've got our mushrooms and our onions and our garlic. I'm going to throw that whole thing in there and just let this cook down. And I'm going to put the lid on and let it cook down. Alright, we've got a good amount of fat at the bottom of this. It's going to be a good roux. Our onions are sweated out, mushrooms are softened a little bit. You can smell that garlic coming up out of there. Right now, you can add your Worcestershire and your paprika now, or you can do it after you thicken it. I like to do it after you thicken it, because I just feel like somehow when you thicken it, it loses its, the seasonings kind of lose their edge a little bit when you go to thicken it and they're already in there. So I want to just add the flour in a little bit at a time, make a nice roux, turn the heat down just a touch. I'm just going to let this cook up a little bit to help strengthen it to cook or to thicken. The recipe calls now for 8 cups of water for the beef broth. I'm going to go ahead and make that up while this is cooking. I turn the heat down. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 cups of our broth, just because I don't want to get all the stuff stuck on there. You can deglaze this, I guess, with a little bit of the Worcestershire as well, but we didn't do that. I'm going to keep adding the water and the base. There's 4 cups. I'm going to say that's going to be enough for right now. We will learn more as we go along here. I don't want it too thick because I want to have the noodles in there. So I'm going to add a little bit more of the beef base here. And I'm also going to switch out to a whip. Make sure all that beef base gets in there. Turn our heat back up. Now I'm going to add our Worcestershire sauce. I think it was 1 teaspoon. And a teaspoon of the smoked paprika. If you don't have the smoked paprika, feel free to just use Hungarian paprika as well. This is kind of what makes it all stroganoffy. Is that a word? Just going to go ahead and let this cook and thicken a little bit, and then we will get to our next step. All right, we got some bubbles forming on the outside here. Right about now, I'm going to just take a little bit of the juice, broth, whatever you want to call it, out of here. And then I'm going to add our sour cream to that in this bowl. And I'm just going to whip that sour cream up right in that broth to kind of help marry the two flavors together, because you don't want to dump it all in there because it will kind of curdle. So this will help get it all slurried up a little bit to where it can just be, it's like putting a goldfish into the bag and then putting the bag into the aquarium to kind of temper it out a little bit. So that mixed it up really nice, no curdling. It looks good. It's really smelling good. I did taste it. I added a little bit of salt and pepper in there to it, but it's got that rich broth flavor with that Worcestershire and that smokiness of that paprika. But I'm going to go ahead and let it just kind of set right now and continue to simmer a little bit. We've got our noodles all cooked off here. And one thing I'm going to say about this, you can add the noodles to your soup right now if you want to, but I'm going to add them to the bowl of soup that I'm going to prepare for the social media pictures I'm about to take. I would suggest doing that. They are cooked and shocked cold again. You want to stop that cooking process in these noodles, or else you're going to have mushiness. If you add them now, the soup you eat today will be great, but the soup that you reheat tomorrow or probably 3 days from now, those noodles are probably going to be kind of mushy. So save your noodles off to the side in a different container, in a Tupperware, and add them to the soup when you reheat it. All you got to do is add, you can add the cold noodles to the soup and reheat it in the microwave. That'll be fine. Or if you're reheating it on the stove like we're doing right now, you just add the noodles as much as you want to eat in your soup bowl. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to plate this up. We're going to take some really groovy photos of it for social media. We're going to lay those pictures down into the timeline. We're going to add some groovy music to that timeline. And then we're going to come back and we're going to give this a taste. So enjoy the music and enjoy the pictures. Alright, well here is that soup. Get a good look at that. It's still hot. I just added the noodles that I wanted to eat in the soup. The others are out. I'm going to put those away separately in a different container, and we'll just add those to the soup as we want. That way it's not going to get all mushy. It's very hot. I'm going to take my towel over here to hold it. That hamburger in there looks awesome. I put some parsley on top just to give it some color. The mushrooms, the onions give it a little bit of integrity in there, so there's just something in there besides the ground beef. I'm going to go ahead and mix all this up now. You see that steam coming off of there. Get thickened up nicely. I'm gonna give it a taste as soon as it cools off. That's our bite right there. Oh my God, this is very good. This is delicious. Not saying that because I made it, but this is really, really good. A little ground beef and some mushroom right there. No noodle. Very hearty, very meaty. The mushrooms really do add a lot to it. That sauce, I think, with the butter added to it to make the roux with that ground beef and the juice from that ground beef and the oil and the grease, if you want to call it the grease, it's what it is. But it was utilized in this to make it part of the one of the ingredients. Actually, we didn't drain it. Nothing wrong with it. A little bit of fat won't kill you. This is very, very good. Very good. I'm going to let you go now. I'm going to continue to eat this and enjoy it. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't done so already, leave a comment below, and then share this video and this channel with everybody that you know. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time right here on It's Only Food with Chef John Politte. Bye-bye.